Heading into turn 27, focus on this exit, don't want to lose the rear traction, does that quite nicely. Where is Robbo going to go? Of course, our winner in Australia. Can he hit the front row of the grid? No, just misses out.
Wow.
JTK up by a 10.5 on He's that. Ben Huskins is going to be coming up to the line ever so shortly. The man in the Mercedes still hunting for that first race victory in his own league. What can he do here in Saudi Arabia? One of his best circuits. Can he snatch pole position away? No. Only fourth fastest. Exotic has invalidated. And what's JTK doing as he's currently heading through the middle sector split? He's still up by a 10th. It won't be enough to beat Raxi at this stage of qualifying. So now, heading through the final corner, can JTK snatch it away from his teammate with this run to the line? Across the line he comes. He can! A monstrous final sector. JTK under the lights. The pressure did not get to him, and he takes pole position here in Saudi Arabia.
Here in Saudi Arabia, round 4. JTK is back, ladies and gentlemen, for more action. It's Raxi, our championship leader, against his teammate JTK. It's lights out, and away we go here in Saudi Arabia. JTK gets away well. Raxi slotting in behind, and all in the midfield got Squabbling, Voices Luba making a move past Exotic, still going side by side past turn 2. The Alpine of Chris's Pilakoris. He's also going for a move on Ben Huskins, but can't make that one stick at the minute. Liam Doxey, he's also trying to get a nose at the back of it. That's Isaiah Jarvis who's been spun round on the exit of turn number 2. Both Aston Martins getting away well. Icky Robbo too, with decent gaps between them. But at the moment, Ben Huskins putting pressure on Icky Robbo so far as we make the route all the way up to turn 13. The Mercedes only 1.5 tenths behind the RB. Let's see if he can close up in the final pass of lap 1. So far, JTK 4 tenths clear at the top. Here he is. Then there's Raxi in behind. 4 tenths clear is JTK so far. Icky Robbo in behind, getting pressurised by Ben Huskins. Then Chris Pilakoris also holding position. No real big moves at the start. We've got a mistake from Isaiah Jarvis, but everyone getting away pretty well. JTK leads, Raxi in P2 and Icky Robbo so far in P3. Is JTK going to get pressurised even more by Raxi? Is Raxi going to go for the dive? So far, I don't think he can. Ben Huskins, he's still really close to the back of Icky Robbo. Actually, they made contact, so I had to back out in the end. But there goes Raxi on JTK. We've got a new race leader. It's a championship leader. Gets past his teammate JTK on his return. It's lap 3 out of 25. Raxi's into the race lead. As at the back of the pack, Reuters Luva has retired in the pit lane. So another miserable race for him. Not going his way. As out of the race is the Ferrari, still only on 2 points in the championship. Saudi Arabia, it's gone wrong again for Voiters Luva. Raxi and JTK might have another little switch in the Aston Martin. Yeah, there we go. So JTK gets through, and Raxi will have that DRS down the main straight as well. But Icky Robbo, Ben Huskins, Chris at Pilakoris, all very close, and I'm sure pressure is going to be applied as we head down to turn 1. Ben Huskins closing in. He's pulled out of that slipstream into turn 1 as Raxi takes the lead. Ben Huskins going down the inside. Has he made this move on Icky Robbo? He absolutely has. The Mercedes has finally got past the RB on lap 5 out of 25 into P3 as Chris Pilakoris is now applying that pressure. Oh!
Raxi!
Wow!
Oh my! Wow! Raxi, the championship leader, has just made a fatal error in his championship challenge and in the Grand Prix. Heading into turn 5, under pressure from his teammate, and he's just clipped the wall, turning into the corner, and it's ripped that left front tyre off.
As we headed into turn number 4, but wow, what a mistake from our championship leader. JTK been gifted. Now, I tell you what, Max, look at my predictions. Looking pretty good out there.
They certainly are. I mean, both of us are having pretty good predictions at the moment.
Right.
We've both got the podium. But you've got the podium in the correct order at the minute. But we are now seeing drivers, everyone, into the pit lane. And they will be on for a set of the hard compound of tyres. Of course, some drivers would have had to double stack. The likes of Magdonas and Antonio Bove might lose a little bit of time due to them having to just come in behind their teammates. As now we're going to see if Ben Huskins is finally, after in this 11th season of his FZR career, going to pick up that elusive first race victory that just keeps falling out of his grasp race by race. But this is arguably around one of his best circuits, in such a good position as well, is one of his best opportunities to do it yet. So let's keep an eye on the Mercedes driver. Hopefully you haven't...
Oh?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
I was going to start thinking about like a really nice quote to say if he won the race as well then. And he does that. Anyway, it's lap 25. Safety cars coming in. There might be still hope as Sensei Dan Boer is leading the Grand Prix. Hasn't pitted though. He's finally going to get us underway. JTK foot flat to the floor right in behind. The gap 5 temps. Icky Robbo, Chris Pilakoris and Exotic following in behind. There's already a move there. That's Nanustar going for a move on Eggles. He's going to have to try and force a double move on Exotic. And I tell you what, Eggles going for the move as well. Down the inside of Eggles. It's going to go all the way up to turn number 4. It's going to be outside line for the Mercedes, inside line for the McLaren. And having to slot behind. Oh, it's caused a bit of a domino effect there. With a bit of contact with the cars behind us. Exotic is let through and now round the outside goes the Red Bull and now made contact with Eggles, who's been forced off the track as Seth Martin barges his way through and gets a 3-second time penalty for going off track as well, as Nanu and McDonald's have somehow got into P7 and P10, as is another safety car.
When will Demboa go? Of course, in the Williams, the only driver not to make his mandatory pit stop just yet. So when does the Williams driver elect to put his foot to the floor and blast away from the field? And that is now, and he's caught JTK napping, and we go racing once again here under the lights in Saudi Arabia. And look who's trying to capitalize on it. It's Icky Robbo and Thunderino now going side by side. Ooh, big rear locking moment for the V-Carb. Luckily, he's able to stay in front of the Alpine. McDonald's, and the McLaren there of Seth Martin and Love Exotic getting together up in through turn 3 as we then head through turns 4 and 5 now. McDonald's able to get in front of Liam Doherty. Luckily for the McLaren and the Red Bull of Exotic and Martin, they're able to keep their cars in a straight line and not clip the wall ever so slightly. But look at JTK now on those younger tyres. Demboa will have started to hit the cliff ever so slightly. There goes the Aston Martin to the inside. The Williams man trying to rejoin the racing line, but in a wild, Icky Robbo has appeared to the left-hand side. Not able to get the move done. This could be a lifeline here for JTK if Icky Robbo does get stuck behind the Williams man. There's a yellow flag. That's for Isaiah Jarvis, who's had a spin out of turn 12. Not been his race in the other RB. One RB descending down the order. The other trying to break up into that top 2 once more. But Demboa here, Alex, with brilliant straight line speed. Unfortunately, through the corners, that car is understeering more than a boat. And Icky Robbo surely going to get by into turn 27 this time round.
Absolutely. Here we go then. Can Chris Pilakoris get through to down the inside? Is Sensei Demboa around the outside? It's Icky Robbo who gets the exit, and so does Chris Pilakoris. Thunderino in the Alpine. He's going to get through as well. DRS is now being enabled. It's going to go side by side with Pilakoris and Icky Robbo. Icky Robbo pulls ahead of Pilakoris pulls ahead of Icky Robbo. Demboa now under pressure from Seth Martin and Exotic, who are now fighting as well, side by side with them, but that's to slot in for the single file tight line corner as Demboa now round the outside goes Seth Martin. So does Exotic, squeezing through. He's under all sorts of carnage and chaos in sector 1. Demboa is just getting swamped with all sorts of F1 cars all around him, but he's now dropping down behind McDonald's in P7. He's got to stop surely soon onto a soft compound, but JTK 1.5 seconds clear, and Pilakoris and Icky are going to have to work together to try and get back within.
Bonarino out in front, still within the DRS range, and the top 5 still nose to tail as JTK just not being able to break away just yet. As Ben Huskins able to get past Antonio Bove, and also Nanustar able to re-overtake Eggles.
Donas making a move on Eggles again. Oh, bit of contact with the wall there on the exit for Eggles. He's now getting pressurised by Liam Doherty on the exit, using that DRS. Probably using the battery as well, trying to get through. Now McDonough's going to get pressurised as well. It's free wide as we head into turn one. It's outside for Eggles, who's actually tried to make a move on Nanusar, but so far having to stay behind. Eggles keeps it, and McDonough's and Liam Doherty... Can't speak for a minute there, sorry. Liam Doherty fighting still side by side. But yeah, Liam Doherty pulls out ahead of Ben Huskins and has to slot in behind McDonough's. So still, positions to be gained, positions to be lost, points to be decided. JTK leads. It's Thunderino in P2.
Through the twisty middle sector as we're heading into turns 22 and 23. This is an opportunistic overtaking zone. Doherty forced wide. That's surely going to be a legal overtake through the game. Yeah, he's just pulling over to that left-hand side. But in all of this, Ben Huskins trying to be the great opportunist. Getting past Doherty. Can he also get past McDonough's as they head up into turn 27? No, unfortunately cannot. Antonio Bove breaks back into the top 10. As we now see further up as well, Love Exotic putting pressure on Icky Robbo, who's now putting pressure on Thunderino, who then in turn is putting pressure on JTK. It just shows the chain reaction that is caused. As soon as one driver gets put under pressure, they know attack is their best form of defense, and they will start pushing a little bit further up the order. But it just shows JTK does have a good hold of this race for now in the Aston Martin. Currently 3 attempts clear of Thunderino behind.
Here goes Thunderino. Is he going to go for a move down the inside, or is he going to stay behind? There goes Icky Robbo. He's going to try and go down the inside. It's outside line for Thunderino. He's now trying to defend his Icky Robbo from Exotic, who's trying to go for a move. It's still side by side as we head up to turn 4. Who's going to give way? It's going to have to be... Oh, there's a bit of contact there. I think Exotic might just have damage there. I saw a bit of carbon fly up, but Exotic has to slot in behind. And I tell you what, I think he might have a bit of damage.
I need to get a good view of that front wing to see if he does have any damage, but he's got a horrid run out of turn 11, and this could invite Seth Martin now to the outside line. There's a little bit more contact made with the McLaren. Doesn't have any front wing end plates missing, so it might only be a few points of downforce that he could have lost.
So it's impressive that he's even keeping the distance with the DRS, because it is such a big effector here. If you lose the DRS, you could be out of it. And there goes Exotic on Seth Martin down the inside of the Red Bull, and yeah, flies through with that DRS and probably a bit of ERS usage on the brakes as well. But here we go then, down to turn 1. Thunderino and JTK is finally going to be a lead switch. I don't think there is. Icky Robbo stays behind Thunderino, and yeah, doesn't really put any pressure on to make a move in sector 3. We've got another yellow flag against Isaiah Jarvis once again. I think it might be time to call it a day, to be quite frankly honest.
He is slowly bringing that gap down. It is now 2 seconds as Seth Martin and Love Exotic. That might bring the gap down even more, that little bit of contact that they've just made. Is a bit more contact. Yes, there is. Seth Martin and Exotic crashing on the exit of turn 23. A flick back to Ben Huskins quickly to see his line through 22 and 23. And that has just put him into the top 4. And now he's got a lot of work on his hands. He doesn't have 5 cars congested. It's only the top 3. But we could see a squabble begin to happen within the next few laps. Ben Huskins still do not rule him out of this battle for the race victory if he is able to have another 4 stellar laps. So Icky Robbo still sitting behind for now on Thunderino and JTK. Seth Martin now squabbling with Eggles as Love Exotic retires in the pit lane. Unfortunate for the McLaren, who was having such a good race. And there goes Eggles and Nanusar past Seth Martin as they move themselves up into 5th and 6th place respectively. But all eyes are going to be on that trio in front and Ben Huskins as Adams retired from the Grand Prix. And it's a late safety car!
15 cars remain. Most of them were softs. 3 drivers with the penalties went for the punt on the hards. What's going to happen? 2 laps to go. When's Eggles going to call it? Put the foot down. And we're going to get racing once again. Green flag running. We've got 2 laps to go. It's a Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Round 4. Our championship leader was out at turn 4. And here we go. Flat to the floor. For the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Eggles is going to lead. Where's JTK? Is he going to try and go for a move in behind? I tell you what, who is going to go for a move? Icky Robbo. He's trying to force it on Thunderino. Thunderino defending that one on the exit. And I tell you what, Ben Huskins might just gobble up that as well with the exit speed. But I don't think he can. So Icky Robbo having to stay in behind. JTK putting pressure on Liam Doherty. When can he get through? When can he be released? But he's still got not just Liam Doherty, he's got the other two, Seth Martin and Eggles, to get past through. What can happen? JTK, can he get through here? All to be decided with 2 laps of racing action.
It certainly is, as there goes JTK through, and Lurk's opened the door as well for Thunderini, and he's also passed Seth Martin in all of this, so he's got a car between himself and the Alpine now in this Grand Prix, as Jarvis brings out another yellow flag in the middle sector. All big slide for Thunderini, as now here comes JTK on Ben Huskin's teammate Eggles in all of this. And Eggles shows no fight at all. Actually, I think elects to back out of it, as there goes Seth Martin now to the inside of the Mercedes. Oh, there's some contact made. More contact. Thunderini put into the wall. The Red Bull spins round. Liam Doherty is making his way back through the order. Thunderini now in second, but JTK is streaking a second clear. It could be a lifeline for the Aston Martin driver. Here comes Ben Huskins on everybody else. He's managed to pass out like 5 cars down one straight, and this is now one crucial lap of the Grand Prix. 1 lap at DRS. Here comes Ben Huskins to take second place in the Grand Prix. He's got to hunt down JTK with all his might, with all his will, after the disconnect earlier on in this Grand Prix of his racing rig. Can he fight back and take what will be an outstanding way to win your first Grand Prix here in 11 seasons of FZR, and finally put his name into the history books? 1.1 seconds is now that gap. He is using everything he possibly can, but I just don't think it'll be enough. It's a purple first sector. That just shows how hard Huskins is pushing. Can he win for the first time this season and the first time in his FZR career? But I don't think it will be enough. JTK is just ever so slowly streaking clear of the Mercedes driver, and Huskins once again will have to watch his race-winning chances just fly away. Nanostar able to get past Liam Doherty. Larry's had a spin, I think, further back. Eggles has dropped all the way down to 13th place in all of this. But let's look at the front of the field. Even with a late race safety car, this man has managed everything perfectly. The traffic, the trials, the tribulation, the chaos here in Saudi Arabia. It's been a special Saudi Grand Prix, and it's going to be the Aston Martin, the man who took pole position. JTK wins here in Saudi Arabia. Domination in qualifying, domination in the Grand Prix. Ben Huskins finishes up in second. Thunderini in third. Nanostar, a brilliant drive from the Haas driver to finish off in fourth. But it's JTK on his return. What a way to prove you are back with a bang. The Aston Martin driver wins here under the lights.